Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be about my sorority experience at UCLA. So I'll just dive right into it. I didn't really know about Greek life going into it. You know, I'm not American, so we don't really have Greek life organizations back home. But you know, I was walking around during club day, which was week 0, and I was looking for pre-med clubs to join so I could build my extracurricular activities. And yeah, so I was approached by several different sororities during club day, and one of them stuck out to me because they told me that they, 60% of the girls in it were pre-med and that they do so much stuff for pre-meds and all that stuff. So that got me thinking. I was excited and intrigued. So then I went through the rush process, which is an entirely other video in itself. I'll have to make that video because separately, because it's just way too long and lengthy for both things to be talked about in one. So basically I went through rush and was involved in one of the sororities called AKO at UCLA. And so everything was great in the beginning. It felt nice, like having sisters. We're friends because growing up I didn't have a sister. Now I do, but she's much younger than me, so I never had a sister my own age. Now I kind of do because of my sister-in-law, but yeah, so it's nice to like have a support system or whatever. The thing though was things were getting a little tough to manage because we had meetings. We had one thing though is things were getting a little tough to manage time-wise because UCLA is a quarter system, and so you're expected to get a lot of work done, each week. So it was a little tough because we would have like a 3 to 5 hour meeting every Monday, and then different events throughout the week, like date parties and such, which were weirdly like on a Monday or a Tuesday, like some weird day in the week that made no sense because we all have school the next day. And as far as like meetings and certain events, if you miss them, you get fined a fee. And I just thought that was a little bit ridiculous. Not a little bit, but like super ridiculous, because we're already paying like around $1,000 every quarter to be a part of the organization. And like, if we have something come up last minute, we have to pay a fine. It was just really weird, and I just started feeling like a piggy bank. And that was really starting to get to me. And you can actually submit an excuse to get out of these events, but I think it has to be done before 24 hours. Yeah, I believe so. And so like if you have something last minute come up, which is totally normal, or you realize that you weren't able to get your homework done and stuff, then you're screwed. You're gonna be fined. So that was a little ridiculous. And like I said, the events being on weekdays was also stupid, and one of the reasons for that was because to get the venues on weekends it was way more expensive, which I understand, but like I said, we're putting so much money into this, school should be a priority in this organization, but I guess it wasn't. And the other thing is it was just very fake, and I can't like be something that I'm not. It's really difficult for me, and to be around those types of people as well. When the girls in the sorority would go out, or like their personal life was totally different than the persona that they were putting out as part of like the AKO image or whatever. And I don't know, it was just a little bit odd, and like things were kept hush. Like, we don't talk about certain things all the time. We don't want people to know that we say a curse word. Like, we're college students. Like, are you kidding me? So I don't know, it was really weird, and it was really hard for me to get used to. So to be honest, I never really followed those rules. I said what I wanted to, when I wanted to, where I wanted to, because I'm not anyone's slave. This is not a fucking cult. So that really bothered me. And everyone knows that I did what I did and I said what I said. If I had to miss something, I did. And actually I had to miss a lot because unfortunately when I got into UCLA, I found out that my dad has stage 4 cancer. And they were aware of that, and you would think, you know, they would make it so that I don't be fined for the events that I missed because of this reason, but that wasn't the case. So things were getting extremely stressful for me, you know, to keep up with going to everything, not getting fined, to like put excuses before 24 hours if I knew about it, and all this stuff. So I was getting a little bit overwhelmed. But, you know, in the sorority, everyone has a big, so I spoke to my big, and she was like suggesting that maybe the source of my problems is the fact that I'm living at home and commuting and stuff, so to like remove the stress, I should move into the house. And at first I was like not feeling comfortable about it, but then I realized, you know, maybe she's right, I'll take her advice. And, you know, like I should have this kind of experience anyway, so I signed up to live in the house for the following year. So fast forward to summertime, we were gonna have recruitment week 0, you know, at the end of December. For the following year, so we were going through like a recruitment like workshop for like a week or 2 or something. And so a couple of days in, I told them that I was gonna have to miss the workshop and recruitment as well, because I decided to take a trip with my dad because things had gotten a little rough with him. And you know, it was an extremely sensitive thing to talk about, and I thought that I was going to get a very like appropriate response. But that was totally opposite the case. So this girl, legit, this is what she told me. She said that it's too bad that I'm gonna miss recruitment because I'm too pretty. And I just, first of all, before I get any hate, I don't think I'm too pretty or pretty, whatever. This was just what she said. I just thought that was extremely inappropriate, you know. Really, that's like the only thing you have to say. That really made me see, like really hit me hard and made me realize, you know what, maybe things aren't really like matching up with you here. And I was feeling a little bit stressed because I was like, oh my god, like I already signed a contract now that I'm gonna live here all of next year. So I was getting a little worried, but anyway, I was trying to roll with it, you know. I'm a nice person, so I tried to like give people the benefit of the doubt. And so during move-in day, I picked my bed and my desk literally like the day or 2 after I flew back home with my dad. And during my trip, someone, like one of my friends, let me know that someone who was not there during move-in day decided they're gonna come late. They're gonna come later and take my bed and my desk, not even ask me or let me know. And she felt entitled to this, even though she knew what kind of a trip that I was on and how fucked up it was, because she has more points than me, because she's gone to more events than me. And like I said, everyone knows the reason why I was not going to all of the events, and I had a buttload of fees that I was constantly paying because of that. So I just thought that this was really fucked up. It was kind of like, wow, that girl said that, now they're doing this, like they really don't give a shit about me, basically. So yeah, I was really upset about that. And I came back and I realized, you know what, I want to be with my dad, first of all, and 2, I don't want to be surrounded by these type of people because it's gonna just stress me out even more. So I had to talk with them, and I said, you know, with the president, and actually I was crying because I was very emotional at the time about things with my dad. And I was telling her that it seems like for me the best thing to do is remove myself from not only living at the sorority but from the sorority as a whole. And somehow she convinced me that, you know, they're going to be able to help me out, that this is what they're here for, and that's why they're so glad I'm a part of this organization, so they can help me. So I was like, wow, thrilled. You know, I was like, maybe like I was misunderstanding these people, okay? And so like that, we had that conversation, and then as you can see in the text message that I'll provide a picture of, she says, hey, can you log into your account and sign your annual obligations contract? There's nothing we can do until you do this. So specifically, as you can see, it says there's nothing they can do. I was hesitant about signing this annual obligations contract, which basically is the contract for the following year, because I read it, and basically not everything is listed in the housing contract that I signed, so I would be able to get out of a lot of stuff if I didn't sign this contract. But, you know, they were pressuring me, and in the meeting as well, they said, we had like a formal meeting about this, and they said that I need to sign this so they can basically deduct the majority of my housing contract, and also, you know, the fee that I have to pay is separate from that every quarter. And they made it seem like it was going to be this huge chunk and all that stuff, and it's hilarious because, you know, they let me on so I could sign this contract and be stuck, which I had a fear of, and it turned out it was only removing about like $300, and I was going through financially hard times at that time because, you know, of difficult personal family stuff going on. And so I just thought it was hilarious because I didn't like pay my things on time. I got so many late fees, which you would think they would do something about, and so the late fees basically canceled out the $300 that they even helped me with. And in the meeting, they were making it seem like I was only going to owe $68 to it, or $68 or $63 to the sorority, because that was something like you just can't like get out of. And I understand this is like a financial thing, like this is a business at the end of the day, unfortunately, which they're not trying to make it seem. But excuse me, don't lead me on and put me in a hole like legally. I could have not signed it and said I'm leaving the sorority instead of being backed into a corner. And as you can see at the end of the text conversation, I was trying to reach her because things weren't going smoothly, and she was nowhere to be found. She didn't respond to my calls, and she didn't respond to my texts when I asked her to call me when she gets a chance. So sisterly. So then, you know, the person who's in charge like of the payments or whatever, I'm not really sure to be honest, text me saying, I wanted to let you know that we're trying to find a split contract for your housing, but our options have fallen through. Which was a complete lie, because it was one of my friends who wanted to move in, and she was very ready to move in, and I knew of that. So I just think it's extremely fucked up that, given the fact that they know my circumstances, that they were trying to get me to pay the housing contract for the entire year, even though there was someone that was ready to take it, and they would get all like each quarter's fees. They would not like miss out on any money, you know. That's a little fucked up. And they told me even if they do find someone, I would have to pay for fall quarter, which, by the way, pause, I did not sleep in that bed once. I was literally not in the room for more than 30 minutes at any given time. And I found out from people in the room, well, one person in the room, that other people in the room were having people sleep in my bed without my permission and knowledge, which is really, so I'm gonna have to pay for a bed that I didn't sleep in and other people slept in without my knowledge. That's really ironic, because this goes against the contract, but they didn't want to acknowledge anything on their end that went against the contract. It's just me. I have to pay everything, I have to do everything. I'm in a corner, they can't do anything unless I sign shit. It's really fucked up. So, also letting me know that I'm gonna get late fees, blah blah blah, and I said, I don't have the money to pay for it right now. I was being extremely honest. And, you'll owe your housing in full and then just national dues $68. With the special status, we were able to cover your chapter dues. So that makes it seem like I only have the housing contract and then the $68, right? Yeah, well, that's what they told me in meeting. Wrong. It's only $300 that they covered, which I don't know why she's not explicitly stating. And then so I said my total is showing up as $3,297. It's showing my fall dues, so separate from the housing, minusing from the $3,000, it says my fall chapter dues are $1,170, not $68. So to that, she says, I believe that amount includes housing too, blah blah blah, basically saying some BS to cover for it, and saying we were only able to credit $350 to your account. Oh really? Now you want to tell me, now that I'm looking at the actual numbers? And then I said, what does that mean? What does that mean that the rest is in my housing contract? So basically what they did to legally get around the fact of their lies, they took my chapter dues and put it under the category housing contract and said, well, we're helping you, except now that's in my housing contract. Wow, that's really helpful, thank you. It's just, I can't believe that they did not give one shit about me and they totally screwed me over and treated me in this way. I mean, you know, really, you're that money hungry? That's really interesting. This is such a great sisterhood once again. So I was like, I'm feeling overwhelmed because I'm only being credited $350 and the late fees are basically canceling that out. So yeah, the late fees cancel that out. basically I was, you know, in the same fucked up situation, and all she can say is, I understand why you're feeling overwhelmed, but yes, the rest is in your housing, all from your housing contract. Unfortunately, there's a separate legal agreement. That is a separate legal agreement that the chapter cannot override. Really? Well, it's important to note that the reason they can't override it is because they made me sign the other contract that says that they can't. So if I didn't sign that contract, I would have been just fine. So really, this was a whole scam. This was a whole fucked up situation. And I can't believe that I wasted 1 penny in that organization. And I just want to say, besides like putting all my own drama aside, these girls were not teaching self-worth at all. It was actually the exact opposite. Experiencing a lot of rape situations with a lot of friends, you know, during the period that I was in this organization. And that's because a lot of the events are set up in a way that no one gives a fuck, you know, and, you know, mostly this is not like the official events, but, you know, frat parties and such, where things are set up very horribly, and no one's doing anything about it, you know? No one is saying what you can't do and what you should do. No one's saying you should have self-worth. No one's saying this is how you protect yourself. You know, it was just a shit show, and it's literally an organization that you pay money so you can get screwed over and not have self-worth. So I'm upset that I was involved in it for the amount of time that I was. And I have to say, yes, I did meet very few people in it that I still do talk to and that are no longer actually in it. Surprise, surprise. So I'm thankful for that, but that's the only thing, unfortunately, that I feel that I can be thankful about. I guess I did learn my lesson, and, you know, I'm not trying to bash, like, all organizations such as this, but I personally wouldn't allow my kid one day to ever be a part of an organization like that. So yeah, unfortunately I experienced this, and this was my sorority experience at UCLA. I just want to say this is my freedom of speech to talk about this. If anyone like is mad about it, there's nothing I can do, but I hope this did educate a lot of people that were considering joining Greek life, and because you always like only hear about the positive stuff and not really the negative stuff because people are too scared to talk about it or for whatever reason. So I really hope you guys like this video, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up and comment. Let me know if you had a similar experience or anything in terms of Greek life, even if you weren't involved in one, you know, at frat parties or whatever. Yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.